Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm spinning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys. Welcome to Otaku Chris is Talking. This is your weekly Boku no Hero Academia manga review. This is for chapter 142. If you are new to my channel, I hope you enjoy this video. Do check it out to the end, and if you enjoy it, I hope you subscribe and do return for future content for myself as I make regular Boku no Hero Academia anime and manga reviews. So hopefully you will like that stuff and turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified, because in these shallow depths of YouTube and anime reviews and manga reviews, it's kind of hard trying to come up. So feel free to support me if you want to. Now, enough of that plug, you know what I'm saying? This chapter, really enjoyed it. It started off with, actually, let's start with the title. Let's start with the title, right? The title, I think, was Shield and Lance versus Shield and Shield, and this was based on the characters who had the most shine or the most progression in this chapter, and that's kind of what the title kind of referred around. So yeah, so the chapter starts off with the completion of Sun Eater versus Overhaul's henchmen, who which he finally managed to take them out. And it wasn't like he managed to take them out because like he managed to get a power up or anything. He always had the strength for it. It's just that he always belittled himself. You never ever saw Sun Eater being like, yeah, but that's Togato Mirio's kind of role in the Big Three's friendship. So it's very interesting to see that. And now you think about it, when they say Big Three, as well as the general One Piece, I said Boku no Hero Academia because it's one of the Big Three now, instead of the general One Piece and Bleach and Naruto. So when I think of Big Three, I think of normally Naruto, I think of Sakura, Naruto and Sasuke. And if you think about it, just like those three, there's three versions of those in Boku no Hero Academia. Why am I talking about this? Because it's interesting how Mirio is the bubbly hyper one like Naruto, and then Sun Eater is kind of like just a mellow chilled one, but to the extreme, you know, it's a bit too much. You don't have to be so upset all the fucking time, kind of like Sasuke, because yeah, they're both kind of miserable people. But anyways, hopefully this doesn't give me the dislikes before you guys have even heard the review, my opinions. So yeah, so that's how the chapter starts. And then it turns out Sun Eater, like he's tired. He's taken him out. He's won. He's even managed to poison them as well, and said, look, I've poisoned you guys so you guys can't get up, and not enough to kill you, but enough to make sure your motherfuckers stay down. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was pretty cool, very smart. But then he ends up passing out himself, and then the chapter moves on to the rest of the heroes, and we get to see my boy Deku after it's been a while. I feel like I haven't seen him in a while, but it's cool to see him again. But once again, the chapter didn't focus on him, but hey, that's not a bad thing, because we've got to see more characterization on the other characters, and I feel like this is something that the manga is doing really, really well. And compared to a lot of other new series, I say new, it's not that new anymore. The manga's been out for over 2.5 years now, but compared to loads of series who are around the same stages of Boku no Hero Academia, they tend to end up rushing from this point on, because most people's attention spans aren't they're not very long. They're very short and snappy, so things get resolved quickly, villains get resolved quickly, the bad guy ends up doing this and that. Whereas in this, we get to see that the villains who we thought were pawns were actually fairly strong themselves, and even the tunnel guy who like kind of changes the shape and whatnot of whatever that's his quirk ability. Even he was saying, oh wow, the three villains, Overhaul's pawns, they weren't able to, the Century Hounds of Hell weren't able to take down one guy. Now that shows a lot of that shows feats for Sun Eater, but then he did actually give him a little bit of praise. It wasn't like these guys were totally shit, so that's why we sent them out there. They were meant to be fairly strong. They're meant to get the job done, and he even believed that they were supposed to. So I like that the villains aren't totally looking down on each other, because we get to see that in a lot of manga anyway. I feel like I've spoken way too much about that. Check it on my notes. yeah, so what ends up happening is we kind of slightly shift off to Aizawa Sensei. Aizawa Sensei notices something is off, and he's like, something's not right here. Where is that guy who can move around tunnels and whatnot? And he ends up realizing that, okay, maybe his quirk isn't that he can just totally morph everything. I think he can probably only do things at a time, because his control is like he's controlling it. It's not like he becomes it. So that's a difference. So if that made any sense. If it didn't, I'm so sorry. But yeah, so after noticing that, immediately the wall quirk guy, whatever, can morph shit and whatnot, ends up going to attack Aizawa Sensei and ends up separating Aizawa Sensei from the rest of everybody else. So I think in the next few chapters will be Aizawa Sensei versus that wall guy, but Aizawa wasn't able to see the actual villain themselves, because he needs to look at them in the eyes to be able to make the quirk stop. He wasn't able to, thus separating himself from Kirishima and Fat Gum and a few of the other people as well. So, but once the villain goes to attack Aizawa Sensei, Fat Gum goes to protect Aizawa Sensei, but at the same time, so does Kirishima. And when that happens, Kirishima ends up pushing Aizawa out the way and ends up being swallowed into Fat Gum's fat as well. And so do the villains. And this is when we get the new fighting ground for the next chapter and this current chapter. Literally, after it was like a slightly, not slow, but it was interesting getting to see all the heroes and everybody talking to each other, finding out a bit about the villains. Suddenly, shit goes real. Like, immediately, we get to see another one of the Century Hounds of Hell, and he is huge, and he's straight up. He kind of talks kind of simply, but in a way where, like, you know when they're villains, but they talk kind of smart, like, don't bring guns and knives to fights, we should do it the old school way with the fists. And I'm like, whoa, this guy really has confidence in himself, and it's not like he just has confidence in himself. He ends up going blow for blow with Kirishima and Fat Gum, and like literally, because Kirishima's Kirishima, he goes into hardening state, but then he does his level up. I think, did he do his level up? Please let me know if he did. If he didn't, I do apologize, and just let me know down below. Just go boo this man if I'm wrong. If I was right, give me a like, because yeah, if it gets darker, it's because the sun's setting, so I need to get this review out the way. Oh shit. So yeah, that was pretty much that, but then Kirishima ends up actually cracking from the blows. Fat Gum ends up saying that the blows felt like they were bullet punches. This guy's strength is no joke, and that's pretty cool. But what I can't wait for is in the anime when we get to actually see how strong he is. For example, we know that Nomu was super strong because he was able to go toe to toe with All Might, and that fight looked amazing. But you have to remember, All Might was weakened. So I wonder how strong is super strength, because there are so many quirks out there which focus on super strength. I would like to know just a bit more about the super strength and like the different types of super strengths, and whether it's the muscles, whether it's this, whether it's that. But hey, so we find out the name for this villain as well. The villain's name is Rappa, and there's like a little note at the bottom where it says, translated into Ruffian. So Ruffian is probably the villain's name, which is interesting. Why is the rapper called? Why is Ruffian like translated into rapper? That's pretty cool. So we get a name of one of the villains, and that villain is what would be Lance, and then we get to see the other villain as well. He just appears out of nowhere after Fat Gum goes to attack. After Fat Gum basically kind of defends from Rappa and goes to attack Rappa. This is probably weird saying goes to attack the Rappa. A shield appears, and he's like, a shield? That's when you get to see, boom, a second villain. And then the second villain, he's the smarter one. He's the one who's kind of like, he would have glasses. I don't know why. Did he have glasses? I don't remember. Did he have glasses? Let me know if he had glasses. Fuck it, who cares? I don't care if he's got glasses or not. If he did, let me know down below. But this guy basically ends up saying, you two right there, we are the guys you'll be going against. We are Shield and Lance. You guys are pretty much Shield and Shield. And then ends up saying, looks at Kirishima and says, well, I'm not really pretty much Shield and Shield. Your shield over there seems to have a little crack in it. Kirishima ends up feeling really, really down for himself. And it's kind of like, I'm so shit. And I was like, oh shit. Like, so this shows a nice level of character, like a little bit of characterization for Kirishima, because we are so used to seeing him so bubbly, so up for it, so 100%. Like, that level of energy is always high. So to see him dip a little bit is like, oh shit. And maybe because of that, that could be why he was, his spirit, because his spirit is weakening. because his spirit was weaker, I think his hardening got weaker as well. And Fat Gum actually ends up mentioning something like that, and maybe this could play into later. Maybe whenever he gets fired up, fairy tale. Whenever he gets fired up or gets proper ready for it, he gets harder. This is a very awkward conversation to talk about. Birds and the bees, Saitama. It's alright. But yeah, so that was pretty much that. Kirishima's kind of like, oh no, I feel shit for myself, but he needs to keep himself together because we need to see what happens in the next chapter. Kirishima, my boy, better not be taken out. Now, what else did we get over here? So Aizawa was somewhere else. The rest of the heroes are somewhere else. Sunny, he's like passed out on the floor. We're inside the Fat Gum, and Kirishima's there with them, as well as the two other villains, and these two other villains don't seem that easy. So I'm very intrigued to see what happens. I'm very intrigued to see how they get out of this. Obviously they're inside Fat Gum's stomach, so they could just spit them out, but this guy Rappa doesn't seem like he's going to be an easy defeat, especially with the other villain as well, who's really good at defense. Now Kirishima, if he pulls himself together, I felt like he'd be able to give really strong blows as well. The level of Rappa, maybe not, but maybe this will show Kirishima that he doesn't need to always focus on shield. That he can actually maybe figure out a way to have a good offense and a good strength as well. Or maybe that's something that he will focus on later, because we do know that he is supposed to be unbreakable, so you had one job. But yeah, anyways, apart from that, what was your favourite part of this chapter? Who was your favourite character who stood out? What do you think of the villains? Who do you think would win in a fight or in a brawl against Nomu and Rappa? Yeah, Ruffian or whatever it is. Yeah, that's about it. And do you think All Might could be able to take him out in one go? I think he could. But yeah, so what do you think about that death flag I talked about last week? Do you think it's still happening? What? They're really taking their time to show us what's happening with Togata Mirio. I bet you it's going to be some fucked up shit, like Overhaul sitting down on some chair with Togata's head. I hope not. Or Togata is the mole. I'm leaning towards Togata being the mole because I feel like somebody has to be the mole. And I just feel like, I don't know why, it'd be one of those like Naruto situations where it's like, oh my god, this good guy was the bad guy the whole time? What a twist. But yeah, it's about it really. Anything else, Saitama? No, alright. It's been looking that way for the whole review. Apart from that, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Do return for future reviews for myself. If you enjoyed this review, do give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you enjoyed it, because I enjoy making these videos, and that's no lie. I actually honestly do. Yeah. That's swearing in some countries. Peace. Wait, awkward. It's kind of awkward when you want to say bye and like you just kind of. I had something on the button here, so I can't. I'm just gonna go because. Wait, I should have an outro. Do we have the outro music?